How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with a little bit of collab hopeful goodness in the form of KCBC Brewing, and it is St. Vitus Brewing, as you can see there. This be a black Pilsner, Magnum and Willamette hopped, 100% barley, 4.666, because this beer is made for the 6 most metal breweries. I guess that's maybe a contest or something along those lines that are picked as some of the more metal breweries. So Morbid Hour is what it's called. It's a black Pilsner. Yeah, I love me some KCBC. I love me some Pilsner. Black Pilsner. What are we thinking? Black Pilsner is going to be Schwarzbier leaning. Is it going to be Czech Dark Lager leaning? That's my guess. Rather than Schwarzbier, but we'll see what happens. Label-wise, I mean, I do dig on KCBC's labels. This dude kind of looks like Skeletor, but they do a lot of kind of cartoon-based kind of graphic design, and I dig on what they do. Who's that dude? Who's that little dude's head there, though? I know that exists in some kind of form or fashion as far as pop media or something like that. I don't know who that is. Anyway, very Christmassy themed beer, and I dig on it. And like, I've never heard of St. Vitus. Vitus? Yeah, it's Vitus, not Vitus. I guess it's the same thing. Brewing. We'll see what's what. Label-wise, or beer-wise. It's dark. It's not as dark as dark could be. I mean, it's a sub 5% kind of dark Pilsner. I can see a little bit through it, so it's a lot of brown, a bit of mahogany going on, kind of that malt ball colored head on it. But it looks the part of a small little roasty toasty jammer. Well, I throw beer everywhere because that's what I do. I think we might actually be getting in the Schwarzbier territory here. And by that, I mean, you know, you're typically, I've seen so many Czech Dark Lagers as of late. It seems like it's just a style that's blowing up. That tends to be a base kind of lager, Pilsner, that leans into the malt a little bit, but doesn't get too roasty, toasty, or anything like that. I'm getting a decent amount of roasty and toastiness off of this beer. Yeah, nice soft roasty toastiness, multiple levels of chocolate, a nice pop of bittering, almost like like Schwarzbier for me is almost like a Russian Imperial Stout light. So that's one of the reasons why I like it so much. And this nose is really screaming with those malts. You do get a bittering. I think it's a combination of a traditional kind of hoppiness, like they said, what is a Willamette and what Magnum. I mean, you know, you're talking old school hop in combination with the big roasty malt, but it's 4.666. I'm going to let you know a secret. It's not actually 4.666. It's probably close to that, but it sounds better because it's a metal thing. Yeah, it smells nice. Let's dive in. Cheers. Yeah, that's like a itty-bitty Schwarzbier. And that's exactly what this beer is. Because it has this roast quality that is really the dominant thing going on here. And it's fucking fantastic. Like, the mouthfeel on this has a soft creaminess to it. Sure, it's not like cask level, water nerdy, insane kind of softness. But it has this nice softiness to it. Softiness. That's a word. And again, they're talking about all barley, right? Yeah, 100% barley malt. So it's not like they're doing like weird fucking tricks and shit with some kind of like brewer sugar or oats and this and they're just like barley, you know what I mean? Hops, water, yeast, done. You know what I mean? So to get that mouthfeel and that roasty toastiness from that beer in just barley alone, maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's quite impressive. Yeah, a lot of that bittering is coming from that malt too. That malted barley. It's really tasty, really fun, super drinkable. I mean, this is probably one of the more easier low ABV chuggers I've had in quite some time. A lot of times people look at these darker beers, especially with this level of SRM, and they're like, oh, that's going to be a hefty beer. I know most beer nerds don't know that, but a lot of general people go look at that and go, hey, you know, it's probably going to be a hefty beer. I can drink this side by side with a 3% table beer all day long. And honestly, these are the kind of beers that really kind of turn me on, especially if I'm going to put in a drinking session. Like, I'm going to hang out with friends, play video games, or whether have a couple beers. I don't want to just go, you know, Pilsner, Pale Ale, Hazy, Saison, whatever, blah, 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 blah. I kind of want to mix in some malty stuff. Obviously, if I'm going to do like a beer session where I'm going to be drinking a decent amount, I'm not going to be throwing big barrel-aged stouts in there, nor Doppelbocks or big huge stouts. This would be something that is really tasty that's thrown in a mix with a lot of smaller beers to kind of scratch that itch or that dark roasty component that sometimes is missing from like low ABV kind of sessions in a very, very fun way. I mean, it's kind of like that. This is the kind of beer I want in my fridge when I want that beer. This is not this beer, but this is the Anchor Porter of beers. Like Anchor Porter for me, I keep a 6er always in my fridge, and if I'm drinking light lagers, something along those lines, I want something rich and malty, but I don't want to kick myself with the ABV. I'll grab one of those, and that's kind of where this beer lands. Now, I'm not trying to say this is just only sole purpose is to kind of scratch that itch. It's a fantastic beer in and of itself, and honestly, I never really thought about it before. I kind of want to do like a heavy session of just like low ABV, dark lager and Schwarzbier and stuff like that. That would be absolutely epic and fantastic. Maybe we'd play dark metal for all the metal breweries in the background. Who knows? We'll see what's what. This is tasty stuff, man. Very awesome. Oh, comes courtesy of my boy Kyle from Brooklyn too. I did not mention that. I'll drink that all day. Fantastic. So let's talk about it. Is this one of the better, darker lagers that I've had? Yes, Mount Rushmore status. But I want to stress, it's not full-on Schwarzbier. It's not smaller. It's not like a Czech dark lager. It's somewhere in between, and I dig that about it. I like that kind of flirting on the edge of either of those two because, Schwarzbier, I'm not going to say they get too roasty, but they can be a little bit aggressive at times. And Czech dark lagers are quite nice, but I want a little bit more from them from time to time. This kind of meets both of those kind of prerequisites for my personal feelings at the moment. And it's absolutely tasty stuff. Value and availability, no idea. We do get KCBC here in Jersey. I couldn't tell you about the pricing. I think they're all over the board. So Kyle, let me know what you paid for this. He probably got it from the brewery. And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer, if you like dark lagers, I mean, it's kind of like spot on. But really, if you do get down with old school porter, Cascadian dark, all those kind of beers where you like a malt driven beer, but you're cool with that bitterness, you'll like this. So there you go. Another review in the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massif. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little bit of a pseudo Schwarzbier right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.